must have been 6 or 7 when I lived in Lebanon. The country was ravaged by war at the time, and murders were common and frequent. I remember during a particularly vicious era when the bombings rarely stopped. I would stay at home, sitting in front of my television, watching a very, very strange show. It was a kids show that lasted about 30 minutes and contained strange and sinister images. To this day, I believe anyway, to this day, I believe it was a thinly, I don't know, I'm dumb. Anyway, attempt on part of the media to use scare tactics to keep kids in place, because the moral of every episode revolved around very uptight ideologies, stuff like bad kids stay up late, bad kids have their hands under their covers when they sleep, and bad kids steal food from the fridge at night. It was very weird, and in sorry, I can't read them. Okay, yeah, I can read, but I'm just stupid. Anyway, it was very weird, and to top it off, I didn't understand much of it, but for most part, the images were very graphic and comprehensive. The thing that stuck with me the most, however, was the closing scene. It remained much the same in every episode. The camera would zoom in to an old rusted closed door. As it got closer to the door, strange and sometimes even agonizing screams would become more audible. It was extremely frightening, especially for children's programming. And then text would appear on the screen. That's where bad kids go. Eventually, both the image and the sound would fade out. That would be the end of the episode. About 15 or 16 years later, I became a journalistic photographer. The show had been in my mind all my life, popping up in my dots. Eventually, I had had enough, and I decided to do some research, and I finally managed to uncover the location of the studio where much of the channel's programming had been recorded. Upon further research and eventually traveling on site, I was now desolate and had been. I found out it was now desolate and had been abandoned after the big war ended. I entered the building with my camera. It was burnt out from the inside. Either a fire had broken out, or someone had wanted to incinerate all the wooden furniture. After a few hours of cautiously making my way into the studio and snapping pictures, I found an isolated, out-of-the-way room. After having a break through a few old locks, and managing to break the heavy door open, I remained frozen for several long minutes. Traces of blood, feces, and tiny bone fragments stayed scattered across the floor. It was small. I'm sorry, guys. This is just a terrible experience. I just wanted to put that in the story. Anyway. It was a small room and extremely seen. It truly frightened me. Though what made me turn away, I didn't want to come back, was the bolted caged microphone hanging from the ceiling in the middle.